Coach Nick Aldiro here, and today we're going to talk about, for our basketball dads, what if my son isn't getting enough playing time? Do I talk to the coach? Do I not talk to the coach? What do I do? If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Click that like button if you find this video of any value, and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified when any of our new videos come out. So I'm starting to do videos for basketball dads with sons that play basketball. Now, you might say, well, what about the moms? What about, the dads of the girls? And the reason why I'm speaking directly to dads who have sons is because that's my point of view growing up. I don't have children at the moment, but that's what I can relate to, so that's what I speak on. But it doesn't mean that this can't help a mom or a dad with a daughter. So, your son's on a team, they're playing. Well, they're not playing. They're on the roster, but they're getting taken out. They're just not getting the playing time that they want. They're coming home upset. Maybe they're crying on the bed, saying, "Dad, like, why am I not playing? Why can't I play? Is that person really that much better than me?" What do? You want to make your child feel better, right? Because obviously, like I said, I'm not a parent, but if I did have a son or a child, my goal would be to help them and make them feel better. Here's the thing, though. You cannot stop them from feeling that. They have to go through that on their own, and they're going to survive. It stinks, especially if your child really, really cares about their sport. But you have to let them go through it and feel that pain, instead of, starting to bash the coach, bash the other kids. You're better than Tommy. You're better than this kid. That coach sucks. I'm going to go talk to him. I'm going to call him up. I'm going to meet him in the parking lot. And do not talk to the coach in the parking lot. That's something that we definitely never, ever, ever want to do. My personal opinion is you shouldn't say anything to the coach. You have to let your son go through these things. It's going to hurt. They're not going to feel like they're worthy, but it's all a part of sports. It's a part of growing. They have to feel that pain. Now, even though you're trying to protect them, don't try to overly protect them where they think that you're always going to sweep in when anytime adversity hits. Because now you're teaching them, oh, Dad will take care of it. They always take care of it. But as we all know, life doesn't work like that. And even if it's a young child, you're going to set them up to not be accountable for themselves. Instead, they're going to play that blame game that you played when they were younger. You blame the coach, you blame the other kids on the team. They don't pass the ball, they don't like them. You come up with all these conspiracy theories in your mind, when the fact of the matter is 99% of the time is the person that's coaching just feels like somebody is ahead of them in the rotation. It does not mean they think your child stinks. It does not mean that your child is terrible at the sport. It just means that player A is better right now for this team than player B. They're impacting the game more to win. So if it's obviously if it's a rec team, usually time is spread out. But when it's like a travel team or an AAU team or a school team, the coach is there to win. Your focus is, I want my kid to be happy. I want them to be the best player they can be. I want them to enjoy themselves. But the coach has to look at the overall scheme of things. You have to look at it from his point of view. If you don't, it's not going to go well if you do ever talk about it, which I recommend you do not. But if it does ever come out, it's not going to be beneficial to your child. You're going to rob them of that experience of, okay, I'm not playing, but what am I doing on a daily basis? What are my habits? You, as a parent, focus on their process, not their results. The results are, did I start? How many points a game do I score? Like, you should be beating into their head their routines and their habits, and just praising them for that. Not rewarding them in terms of like, hey, did you practice today? Here's $10. Here's $10 every time you practice. Like, it has to come from them. Now, especially, they don't have the right to moan and complain about not playing when they're not even putting in the time either. You have to also really say, like, is my child invested? Do they put in the time on a daily basis? And they especially don't have the right to complain when it's that situation. That's why I want to focus on the habits that a child has. Because you can't control the coach. As a dad, you can't control your son's coach. You can't, unless you want to be the coach. Then sign up to be the coach, and that's a topic for a whole nother video. But usually it's somebody who's volunteering their time or gets paid very little money, and they're just trying to win the game. They don't have a vendetta against your child. 99% of the time, they just feel like somebody's ahead of them. And my advice is to look at it from their point of view, not see it as, you're the dad of, your child, but like, okay, what is the coach? What could they possibly be thinking? And now you might say, well, I know for a fact that my son's better than that kid. You might be right. The coach might not be that good, but you confronting him, saying bad things about him, bashing the other kids on the team, what is that going to do to your son? It's just you're going to pile up excuses. And those things might be true, but as a father, you want to make sure that your child is overly accountable for everything. Like, what am I doing? What can I add to the team? So again, I don't think as a dad that you should say anything to your coach's son, to your son's coach, especially after a game, right? I've been approached when I was coaching JV basketball, girls high school JV basketball. I've been approached by a dad after a game, and I didn't play his daughter. And the policy was, the varsity coach told me, play to win. They had family come in from Florida. We're in New Jersey. He was ready to punch me after the game. And I'm pissed off because, like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know he had. If I did, I probably would have threw her in the game because it's just a JV girls basketball game. But like, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't. Was she not one of the best players on the team? Of course she wasn't. Otherwise she would have been in the game. I wasn't not trying to play her. I didn't dislike his daughter. I was just trying to win the game. That was my job. And the varsity coach told me, yeah, play to win. Like, she shouldn't go in. You play the girls who should play. This guy's ready to, has his fist balled up. He's ready. Why didn't my daughter play at the end of the game? I'm like, I just told him there's girls ahead of them in a rotation. He's like, well, doesn't everybody gets a chance to play? I was like, no, this isn't recreation. I didn't dislike his daughter. There was just people who was better than him. But he was ready to fight me over this because in his mind, that jerk, he didn't play my daughter. I have family coming from Florida to see her play. I didn't even know that. So, like, you think this guy, the coach, is like this bad guy who's, mean and doesn't care about your kid. That's not true. They just feel like somebody's ahead of them. That's it. So stop forming the conspiracy theories in your mind of reasons why your child's not playing. And focus on what they're doing on the daily basis and praising them for that. Are you organized? Do they have a notebook? Do they write down, do they check off the day they do this? Do they work on ball handling for this? Do they work on their shooting for this? And are they putting in the time? And eventually it's going to pay off in some way or form. And guess what? That's the risk you always have to take with sports, is that your hard work may not come into fruition within the game. So that's why they have to really love it. They have to love it because and be intrinsically motivated of it, not because of you, but because they just love the work that goes into it. And they would be playing regardless if they were going to start or be a high school American or whatever. Now, if you absolutely feel like you have to talk to the coach, there's a way to do that. It's not after the game. It's not texting them. It's not calling them, randomly, anything like that. It's coming from the point of view of, what can my son do to help the team? Because, again, to help the team even more so. What is the team missing? The coach's job is not to just make your child feel good and just throw them in the game when this is a competitive team. So, how should you approach it? if you really want to talk to them, don't do it after the game. Don't do it in the parking lot. Don't call them randomly. Days later, after a game, maybe send them an email. Now again, I think you should just leave the coach alone. Let the child talk to the coach. Let your child talk to the coach, and we'll get into that after that. But let's say you're like, I just have to say something, or my brain's going to explode. Okay. First, you should think about, like, what's making you feel like you have to say something. I would diagnose that first. Like, why do you just have to say something? Like, what does this mean to you? What's the meaning behind your child not playing? And what are you attaching to it? Because you're probably attaching something to it that is a drastic exaggeration of what's going on, or probably not the real meaning behind everything. So I would, if you have to talk to them, you send them an email saying, hey coach, I was wondering, what do you think the team needs the most to be better right now, to be more successful? The coach might say, oh yeah, we need more rebounding. We need people to jump to the ball on defense, in terms of help defense. We need somebody who's shooting, who can knock down the three. We need a point guard out there who's a leader, who talks to the kids. Something like that. He'll give you the information, and you're not coming from a point of view of hey, put my son in the game. Now he's going to know that. He's going to know what you mean, but he can't really terribly fault you for that. So let him talk. Let him type it into the email, and that's it. Like, great, awesome, thank you for letting me know. And you can tell your son, hey, coach wants this, this, and this. Now, what would be the better way to do that? Have your son ask that question. Coach, what do you think the team needs more of to be better? So now the coach is thinking, that's a great question. We need this, this, and this. And he'll tell the kid. Coaches are okay talking to players. They don't want to talk to you as a parent. They don't need to speak to you, especially about your child's playing time. It's a very touchy subject, and you're basically questioning their integrity and their ability to coach. You're basically saying, you don't know what you're doing. My kid should play. That's all that matters. And the coach is not thinking that. He's not the father of your child, and he's not only thinking about your son. He wants to win. He's thinking big picture. So the gist is, focus on habits of your child. Praise them for that like crazy. Are they working every day? And never talk to the coach after the game. Don't talk to the coach at all, in my opinion. Let your child, and number 3, let your child talk to the coach. And they can ask this question: what do you think the team needs to be more successful? Never said I. What do I need to do to get more playing time? Yes, of course, we all want to play. But you have to think about things from the other person's point of view. The coach is thinking, how can we be better? We. That doesn't mean your child shouldn't practice to be an absolute superstar. They should practice to get to the level they want to reach. But when you're talking to that coach, he's thinking we, not me, or you're just your child. So have your train your child, practice with your child. All right, Tommy. What are you going to say when you get after practice? You say, excuse me, coach, I have a question for you. Coach is going to say, yeah, what's up, Tommy? What do you think the team needs more of to be more successful, or to just to be better? Let the coach tell, and then you be like, all right, and you just make a mental note. Oh, we need this, this. You might find something out that you did not know. So I hope that helps. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Click that like button if you found this of any value. And also drop a comment and let me know if anything resonated with you, whether you disagreed or agree. And maybe put a situation that you had. Obviously, all situations are different. Again, 99% of the time, the coach doesn't have a conspiracy theory against your child. Has that happened? Probably. Maybe your sons don't get along, But for the most part, we create those. And if you really can't stand your son's coach, just don't have him on the team again next year. Let him finish it out because he committed, and then just be like, all right, we're gonna go to a different team, and that's it. If the guy's that bad, but don't bash him in front of your son. That doesn't do anything. All it does is try to make excuses, whether you're right or wrong. It takes the power away from your son of putting in the work on his own. Focus on the daily habits of your child is doing. Praise them for that. That's what's more important. Process, not outcome. Leave the coach alone. Don't talk to him. If you do it the way I told you to. And then 4, really train your child to speak to your coach in a way that your coach is thinking. Think of it from their point of view, right? I hope that helped. We will see you next time.